Okay, hello again, everyone, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining Dragon Trail International and COTTM for today's webinar about working with the Chinese travel trade to promote and sell Chinese outbound tourism in 2024. My name is Sienna Prulis-Cook, and I'm Dragon Trail's Director of Marketing and Communications. I'm joined today by my colleague, Market Research Analyst Janice Mung, and also by Jane Carter, Sales Manager for COTTM, the China outbound travel and tourism market. On the agenda today, I'm going to start out by sharing just a few updates on China's summer travel season and Chinese outbound travel trends, before turning over to Jane to introduce us to COTTM 2024, which is taking place in Beijing this October. Then we will present the results of Dragon Trail's second annual Chinese outbound travel trade survey, which we are just releasing today. The presentation should last for around 40 minutes today, and after that we will have time for a Q&A session. Please feel free to send in questions at any point during the webinar by using the Q&A button on your Zoom control panel, and we will answer as many as we can at the end of the session. Another thing to note is that I will be sending out a copy of today's presentation slides to everybody later today, as well as a link to a recording of the webinar session. So you'll have all of the materials to look back on or to share with colleagues who you think might be interested but weren't able to attend the live session. In case you are attending a Dragon Trail webinar for the first time today, I wanted to introduce ourselves briefly and explain what we do. We're a marketing solutions company headquartered in Beijing, and since the company's founding in 2009, we've focused on marketing for Chinese outbound tourism, working with destinations, airlines, hotels, attractions, and other tourism brands and businesses around the world to help them reach the Chinese travelers and the Chinese travel trade. Our services include B2B and B2C digital marketing, virtual, hybrid, and offline events, research and strategy consulting, and market representation services. You can find more information about our services, case studies of our work, the brands that we work with, and lots of free resources on Chinese outbound travel and digital marketing on our website, www.dragontrail.com. Dragon Trail Research, our research arm, was founded in 2019, and we have been conducting Chinese traveler sentiment surveys regularly since the spring of 2020. We also offer research services to clients, including bespoke surveys, focus groups, travel trade insights, and more. Our presentation today on the Chinese travel trade comes from our second annual survey of Chinese travel agents. So let's start the presentation today by looking at the most recent trends in Chinese outbound travel. Data for China's 2024 summer travel season is quite positive, with a 93% year-on-year increase in outbound travel, according to Travel Sky. Chinese OTA Qunar reported that by late June, their summer outbound travel bookings were at 150% of last year's level, and they predict that outbound travel sales on Qunar will fully recover to 2019 levels this summer. So where are these Chinese travelers going? As is usual for this market, most outbound trips are within Asia. We've seen an especially big surge in travel to Japan this year because of the weak yen, and a favorable exchange rate is also impacting travel to South Korea. Further afield, the Middle East is heating up as a destination for Chinese travel. Dubai is particularly popular, doubling their Chinese visitor numbers in the first 4 months of this year. And meanwhile, Saudi Arabia was just granted approved destination status by the Chinese government, meaning that they can now accept group tours from China and they can market group travel products. Finally, visa waivers and other improved visa policies have been a big theme for Chinese outbound travel in the last year. And it's really because of these visa-free travel agreements that Singapore and Malaysia are now welcoming even more Chinese visitors than they did before the pandemic. Malaysia has now extended their visa-free policy through the end of 2025, and Laos has also introduced a new visa-free policy for Chinese visitors as of the 1st of July. It also looks like Indonesia is likely to roll out a visa waiver policy by October. And while Australia still requires Chinese visitors to get a visa, it has introduced a new 5-year multiple entry visa, which led to a huge increase in searches on Chinese OTAs for travel to Australia. So that's just a really brief snapshot of what is going on right now with the Chinese outbound travel. And I'd like to now welcome Jane Carter to speak about COTTM 2024.
Great. Thank you very much, Sienna. Hello, everybody. I'm Jane Carter, and I've been involved with COTTM for the past 18 years. The 17th edition of COTTM, the China Outbound Travel and Tourism Market, will take place this year from the 16th to the 18th of October. And I'd just like to talk you through the following slides about the China market and COTTM. The China Tourism Academy predicts that the number of trips made by Chinese outbound tourists will reach 130 million in 2024. In addition, China's national strategy of jointly building the One Road, One Belt has laid the foundation for the outbound tourism industry. We ourselves carried out some research with the leading Chinese outbound tour operators to get a better understanding of the latest trends in the marketplace. The leading tour operators who participated included Ctrip, U-Tour, Shenzhen China International Travel, Sparkle Tour, and HCG International Travel Group. The main feedback from these leading organisations is that the Chinese outbound market will continue to prosper. Highlights from the research were as follows. Chinese tourists prefer small group tours and customised tours. It seems that the demand for customised services is increasing. People born in the 80s and 90s have become the main source of travel from China. Reasons for travel include concerts, music festivals, hiking, and art tours, etc. So it seems that they're searching for something a bit different when travelling. More of the travel in the future will be self-guided travel. Tourists are looking for tourism quality, but at the same time, cost-effective travel. What came out strongly from the research undertaken was that a platform like COTTM is even more important, as the new needs of tourists need to be understood so that innovative travel products can be created to match their specific needs. The chart here shows you where the Chinese outbound tourism market is across China. This provides further proof that Beijing is the leading market with the highest concentration of Chinese tourism organisations, and that by organising COTTM in Beijing means that we are on the doorstep of these key visitors. COTTM has served the market now for 19 years and is firmly established as the only 100% B2B, 100% outbound only travel event in the marketplace. The show attracts an audience of 5,000 Chinese tour operators. The COTTM team has been involved with the show since its creation, and it has enabled us to gain the respect and strong support from the top key Chinese outbound tour operators. The COTTM team setup works well with our office here in the UK, where we contact international organisations about participating at the fair, and our office, of course, in China, where we look after marketing to the visitors, the media, and also putting together our conference programme. New for this year, we will be organising the Outbound Tourism Investment and Development Forum. I will explain more about this forum later in the presentation. COTTM is now run by Informa, who are the largest exhibition organiser globally, so the backing and support from Informa will soon be evident. COTTM attracts 450 exhibitors from 70 different countries and welcomes 5,000 Chinese tour operators. We pride ourselves on attracting the right key buyers in the marketplace. That means we only invite the Chinese tour operators who are responsible for outbound travel, as the focus of the event is all about the Chinese tourists travelling overseas. The exhibitors at COTTM are made up of destinations and the private sector, from accommodation providers to inbound operators to DMCs to high-end luxury suppliers, so covering the full spectrum of travel. We are very pleased to have built up strong partnerships with the key buyers in the marketplace, including the likes of C-Trip, U-Tour, HCG Travel Group, Shenzhen Nice Tour, CYTS, Six Friends and Family, Sparkle Tour, Tongcheng, and Tunu. At COTTM, you will find a very focused event whereby all the exhibitors are international and all the visitors are invited Chinese tour operators. We promote the event through all the marketing channels that are available to us, which include obviously WeChat and via social and online and offline media. And we have strong support from the Chinese media partners that you can see here. As well as our core visitor audience, we also invite a hand-selected number of VIP buyers from the key regions of China, and that includes Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, Chengdu, and Shenzhen. And these buyers are the key players in the travel sectors that they serve. For COTTM, we have an online appointment system where the VIP buyers can request appointments with our exhibitors over 3 days. There will be up to 26 time slots available during the show for appointments. Every exhibitor will receive their own account to access the online appointment system, and that includes all co-exhibitors. The COTTM conference runs alongside the show and is very well attended. And here you can see some of the topics that we will be focusing on during the conference. Day one of the conference will cover Chinese outbound tourism demands, with speakers from key Chinese tour operators. Day two in the morning will be presentations from destinations, and in the afternoon, the Outbound Investment Forum will take place. It is important for destinations wanting to attract Chinese tourists to participate at COTTM, as we will invite some of them to be part of our panel discussions at the conference. New for 2024, we are launching the COTTM Outbound Tourism Investment and Development Forum, taking place during the show on the 17th of October. This forum will provide a business platform for global tourism organisations during the show. This is an opportunity for international organisations, project owners and stakeholders to showcase their projects in China to connect with Chinese investors, to help upgrade their infrastructure, facilities and operational systems. The forum also provides an opportunity to meet with Chinese tourism investment management, hotel investors, brand management organisations, tour operators, infrastructure providers, tourism and amusement facilities, and operational system providers. Also new for this year, the CTC event, which is the Corporate Travel Community event, will co-locate with COTTM. The CTC event is totally focused on the corporate MICE sector. So by bringing the CTC event to COTTM, we will cover the whole of tourism, as COTTM mainly focuses on the leisure market. It will be an opportunity to meet travel managers who are responsible and make the decisions on their company's travel portfolios. It is so important in the China market to meet face-to-face, to build up trust and relationships. And you really do need to attend COTTM, where we attract 5,000 Chinese tour operators. COTTM really is the best way to meet the right contacts, and also a great platform to meet your regular clients and keep your profile in the marketplace. What you can expect at the show over the 3 days is a combination of pre-arranged appointments and meetings with visitors who will visit your stand on the day, and they will all be keen to know what your latest product offering is and how you have adapted your products after the pandemic. It's a fantastic opportunity to get across your product information, and just as importantly, to find out what Chinese tourists are looking for when choosing their overseas travel. Here are the contact details for Sarah and I, for those of you who don't want to miss out on what will be the last opportunity in 2024 to meet thousands of Chinese tour operators in one place. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Jane. Now we are ready to give you the very first look at the results of Dragon Trail's second annual Chinese Outbound Travel Trade Survey. And I'll turn over to Janice to get us started with that.
Thank you so much, Jane and Sienna. So now Sienna and I will give you the first look at the results of our latest travel trade survey from Dragon Trail Research. We have been conducting this research of Chinese travel trade since last year, and we will see some remarkable shifts in the Chinese outbound travel market during this time. This year, our survey also identified some similar trends to the insights of COTTM from their research on Chinese travel trade. For example, who is traveling and what are their demands for travel? And we will go into more detail discussing this. Our survey was conducted over a 2-week period in June and July this year, and we applied a strict verification process to ensure that all respondents were Chinese travel agents who are currently selling outbound travel for mainland travel agencies. Sienna and I will be sharing and discussing all the results now, and by tomorrow we will have sent out a link to all webinar attendees where you can access our full report and analysis of the data. If you want to access that report sooner than that, you are able to find it on the resource section of the Dragon Trail website immediately following the session today. So let's start by looking at where our surveyed travel agents sell travel to and which regions they think have the most potential for outbound travel sales in 2024. This year, Southeast Asia and Northeast Asia have risen to become the top regions in terms of both travel trade sales and growth potential. 61% of our survey respondents indicated that they were selling products to Southeast Asia, and it is also considered as having the most potential for growth, up from second place last year. A series of visa exemption policies introduced by Southeast Asian countries over last year, coupled with the proximity of this region to China, has further boosted the popularity of this destination among the Chinese outbound travel market. Northeast Asia follows closely, although it scored near the bottom of the list for growth potential in 2023 survey. Japan turned out to be particularly attractive to Chinese travelers this year, thanks to its weak currency. And Europe remains among the top 3 ranked regions. Another long-haul region worth mentioning is the Middle East. While it is the 6th region for travel sales, it ranks 5th when it comes to potential for 2024, selected by 18% of travel agents. Next, let's look at the best performing type of travel this year. Similar to last year's results, the distribution of the type of travel products sold by survey respondents remains relatively balanced, except for a slight increase in small private group tours or customized tours, with respondents selling this type of travel rising from 68% to 76% this year. But more notable changes occur when asked which type of travel they think is the most popular. Small private groups and customized group tours ranked significantly higher than the other two, chosen by 52% of respondents. Although Chinese travel agents can now sell group tours to more than 130 countries and regions, up from just 60 at the time of last year's survey, the popularity of group travel has declined. In the post-pandemic era, Chinese outbound travelers have growing demands for personalized and customized products, which is also shown in other results of this survey that we will share later. The demand for small group tours is once again demonstrated when we asked the respondents about the most popular size of group tour for outbound travel. 92% of respondents said that a group size of 20 people or fewer was most popular now. As for demographic of travelers buying outbound travel from Chinese travel agents, young generations are still the dominant groups, with 72% and 60% of travel agents indicating their customers are mainly born in the 1990s and 1980s. At the same time, the age distribution of customers is even more skewed towards younger generation in 2024. The percentage of survey respondents selecting the 2000s generation as their core customer group rose from 33% to 41% this year. The change in demographics and way of travel in the Chinese outbound travel market have led to an interesting question. What is the most promising traveler segment that the travel trade needs to take into account when engaging with the B2B marketing and sales? To better understand this question, we asked the survey respondents to identify the traveler segment that they consider to have the most potential for outbound travel. Traveling together with friends tops the list, chosen by 42%, followed by family travel and couples, selected by 26% and 19% respectively. The perceived prominence of traveling with friends is associated with the younger demographic of Chinese outbound travel customers. 80% of travel agents selecting traveling with friends are focused on the customers born in the 1990s. On the other hand, those who saw family travel as having the most potential were more likely to sell to customers born in the 1980s and 1970s. Now let's look more closely at how Chinese travel agents are selling outbound travel products to their customers. As for sales channels, online sales are dominating the market. In our consumer sentiment surveys, we have asked Chinese travelers which channels they use to book outbound travel itineraries and services, and results show that OTAs are the most popular channels. It turns out that in this time's travel trade survey, 63% of travel agents said they sold outbound travel products through online travel agencies or platforms, such as Ctrip and Qunar. Another important online platform for outbound travel sales is WeChat, the most widely used and omnipotent all-in-one platform in China. 49% of survey respondents sell outbound travel directly through WeChat personal account or WeCom accounts. 45% sell through WeChat official accounts, and another 41% through WeChat mini programs. Beyond these more mainstream platforms, the rise of e-commerce and social commerce is also evident in outbound travel sales. In 2024, 43% of our respondents said they sell outbound travel through live streaming, and some even sell through Douyin or Xiaohongshu, selected by 37% and 25% respectively. At the same time, offline channels should not be overlooked, with 38% still selling at in-person events or shops. So what changes in customer demand have the travel agents observed when selling outbound travel products after the pandemic? The value on safety and security is the most mentioned change compared with 2019. This includes personal, property, and health and hygiene safety during travel. Another significant change is the growing demand for in-depth travel experiences. Chinese travelers are no longer satisfied with the traditional way of travel of simply sightseeing and ticking off bucket lists. They also have increasing demands for personalization and customization, as well as flexibility in travel, which makes small group tours and customized tours more and more popular. In addition, outbound travel customers nowadays place more emphasis on balancing affordable prices and good quality, underlying the importance of value of money. So this leads us to the challenges facing Chinese travel trade for selling outbound travel in 2024. When international travel restrictions have been lifted for over 1 year and flight capacity gradually picks up, the top area mentioned by our survey respondents to sell outbound travel this year is price. High prices may discourage customers, and some agents also mention economic downturn, rising travel costs, and shrinking consumption, which add challenges for travel agencies to provide products with more competitive prices, but ensure the quality of travel at the same time. The second most mentioned obstacle is visa policy. Although more and more destinations have waived or relaxed visa requirements for Chinese visitors and benefited from the forward rise in visitor volume, Chinese travelers still need to go through some complicated visa application processes before traveling to many popular destinations. Safety concerns once again came up as an issue for agents to sell outbound travel. For outbound travel suppliers, it is important to work on easing traveler concerns during trip planning. For example, providing information of visa application guidance or notes on travel safety. Some other challenges brought up by survey responses are increased market competition, language communication concerns, customer acquisition, flight capacity, and geopolitics. As price sensitivity in outbound travel is repeatedly mentioned, let's take a look at the priority for travel spending from the travel trade's perspective. We asked the survey travel agents to identify the statement of spending attitudes that best characterizes their outbound travel customer base in 2024. Over half of respondents stated that the majority of their customers would choose the most cost-effective outbound travel products and service. However, another 34% stated that customers are willing to pay a premium for better travel experiences. While price is key in today's outbound travel market, Chinese travelers are not blindly seeking low-priced products. Instead, they expect reasonable prices with quality. This is also reflected in the result that only 5% said the majority of their customers would choose travel products with the lowest prices. What exactly are Chinese travelers looking for in addition to price? We asked the respondents to choose from 6 factors which they consider most important for their customers when considering outbound travel products. High quality and the comfort comes as the most important element for outbound travel products, same as the results to this question 1 year ago. Experiences have become more valued, with unique experiences and rich itineraries now rank as the second and third most important factors to consider. An attractive destination is still key, selected by 55%. In addition, price has moved up in the priorities to become the 5th most important factor when booking outbound travel, chosen by 34%. But it is still less prioritized when it is compared with quality and experiences in travel. And now to present the rest of our survey results, I will turn over to Sienna.
Thank you so much, Janice. So with the cost of outbound travel in 2024 identified as one major challenge, what are Chinese travelers paying on average for trips to different world regions? Unsurprisingly, the prices of trips to long-haul destinations are generally higher than those to destinations closer to China. Although there were only 19 respondents who sell travel to Antarctica, 79% of those agents sell trips that are priced over 20,000 renminbi. For travel agents who sell travel to Europe, the Americas, and Oceania, over 2/3 say that average trips cost more than 10,000 renminbi per person. Most trips to Africa are priced over 5,000 renminbi, and 72% of respondents sell trips to the Middle East at prices between 5,000 and 20,000 renminbi. The prices of trips to Asian destinations are relatively lower, with the majority in the range of 5,000 to 10,000 renminbi per person. The Chinese outbound travel market is known for short lead times, and the fact that these lead times have gotten even shorter since the pandemic. So we asked travel agents how far in advance their clients usually book for visas, group tours, flights, hotels, and car rentals. All products and services are most likely to be booked around 1 month before traveling, with the longest lead times for visas and for group tours. It's quite rare for Chinese travelers to book any part of an outbound trip more than 4 months in advance. A quarter of Chinese travelers will book their international flights through a travel agent just 1 week in advance, with around 1/3 waiting until the last week to book hotels, and 44% making car rental bookings just 1 week before traveling. Now, looking at travel themes for outbound trips, nature leapt up to the top position for travel themes in 2024, and it was selected by more than half of respondents. Beach and island travel was pushed down to second place, but actually the percentage of respondents choosing beach and island travel increased from our survey last year from 37% to 43% this year. Family travel is steady as the 3rd most popular travel theme for agents selling outbound trips, chosen by around 1/3 of agents. Another change this year was the popularity of gastronomy as a theme. It ranked 10th with just 15% last year, and in 2024, it is 4th on the list for the most popular theme, chosen by 23%. In the last part of our survey, we asked about how the Chinese travel trade is working with and would like to work with overseas partners. This information is particularly relevant to those of you who will be working with Chinese travel trade partners in 2024, especially if you're planning to attend COTTM or any other trade event in China. When we asked about what would be the most helpful way to work with an overseas destination or travel business, the most popular answers were offline training and offline trade shows, with 53% each. But at the same time, digital resources are still important, with 46% of travel agents saying that live streaming would help them the most to sell outbound travel, and 45% choosing online training courses. Dragon Trail has developed our own WeChat-based platform called China Travel Academy, which hosts and promotes both online training courses and live webinar sessions for the Chinese travel trade. And we've worked with dozens of brands around the world on their digital B2B marketing in China over the years. So please do let us know after the webinar if you'd like any additional information on this and what we could do together with you. We can also see from the survey question that written materials in Chinese are preferred over written materials in English, and this brings us to the question of language. Actually, more than half of respondents are comfortable using English for work, with 94% choosing Mandarin and 19% choosing Cantonese. If you're attending this webinar, then I imagine that you're also comfortable using English for work, but I would stress that it's quite unlikely that you're going to find a lot of Chinese travel agents who could use another foreign language, and Mandarin really is preferred for both written materials and work communications. If you don't have anyone on your team who's a Mandarin speaker, Dragon Trail's representation services would be able to support in terms of translation and Chinese language communication at meetings and events. When asked how overseas destinations or businesses could help them to sell more outbound travel, travel agents often brought up the need to work together to develop customized, personalized, diverse products and to address traveler concerns about safety. Travel agents are also looking for special deals, good service, and improved visa processes. Finally, we asked travel agents which trade events they found most helpful in the past year. Jane, you'll be very happy to see that COTTM was actually the most popular response, so we can really see the value of this event for the Chinese travel trade. Other popular trade events in China include ITB in Shanghai and BITE in Beijing, as well as small regional shows like COME and UTE. Overseas, agents mentioned WTM and ITB Berlin. Roadshows came up very often as a response about which events were most helpful, including roadshows put on by destinations and cruise lines. Some respondents also mentioned online training, live streaming, offline training, and a fam trip. So that brings us to the end of our survey data, and I'd like to discuss 5 of the top takeaways. First, price sensitivity has become a key feature for the consumer market. This emphasis on balancing affordable prices and good quality is a significant change for selling outbound travel from China since the pandemic. Over half of survey respondents stated that the majority of their customers would choose the most cost-effective outbound travel products and services, but another 34% said their customers were willing to pay a premium for better travel experiences. So while low-cost products might be more popular now, what's even more important for any product, including those that are more high-end, is being able to show that it delivers value for money. Second, Chinese travelers now strongly prefer small groups. When asked which type of travel is most popular in 2024, small private groups and customized tours ranked significantly higher for Chinese travel agents than traditional group tours or selling FIT bookings. Even for group tours, there isn't much interest anymore in groups of more than 20 people. Third, safety is more important than ever. This includes personal property, health and hygiene, and environmental safety. When asked how overseas destinations or businesses could help them sell more outbound travel, Chinese travel agents often brought up the need to address traveler concerns about safety, as well as working together to develop customized, personalized, and diverse products. Fourth, nature leapt up to the top position for travel themes in 2024, and it was selected by more than half of respondents, compared to just 31% last year. Beach and island travel, which is also nature-related, was the second most popular theme for outbound trips. And fifth, while family travel remains important, especially for the generations born in the 1980s and 1970s, the rise of younger generations has also created more potential for travel products that are aimed at traveling with friends. before we move on to Q&A, I wanted to remind you also that you'll be able to find Dragon Trail's new Chinese outbound travel trade survey report on the resources section of the Dragon Trail website following the webinar, alongside all of our consumer sentiment surveys, translated industry reports, market updates, webinar videos, and lots of other free content. So please do check that out. So thank you very much, everyone, for listening. And we're now ready to answer your questions, which you can submit through the Q&A button if you haven't already.